Hello and welcome to March 2 of the pod presented by Eternal Roofing. This is season 3, episode 24. Spring is in the air for the Bearkats, and we're going to tell you all about last week and look ahead to what's on tap for this week. I'm Cory Hogue, your host producer, once banned but never forgotten catfans.com member. You can find me on social media somewhere. I don't know where. We'll figure it out eventually. As always, I'm joined by the one who knows all the ball, all the sports, and everything about the Bearkats. The man behind at Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, the COO of the Cat Fund, proud Bearkat himself, Ben Sorrells. And Ben, it is a very busy time for Bearkat Athletics. I looked at the event schedule for the last week, and like Friday and Saturday, there were 15 events combined.
Yeah, and like 9 of them on Saturday alone. It's nuts.
Oh, it is absolutely nuts. But before we get started, we want to take a second. Last week, sadly, we lost one of our own. Austin Farmer was a huge supporter of all things Bearkat Athletics, and he had a particular love for baseball, which obviously I'm very fond of that myself. He was the proprietor of Bearkat Dugout and co-owner of Prospects Worldwide. He was 30 years old, and he graduated from Sam Houston in 2023 with a degree in multi-platform journalism. Austin died due to health complications following his third open-heart surgery in January. He was loved by many, and Ben, I know you had a very special connection with him.
Yeah, I did. I had the chance to know him since 2022, 2023, when my accounts, kind of became bigger and we kind of ran into each other covering baseball games and struck up not only conversations over baseball, but just life in general, and got to know each other really well over these last 3 to 4 years. So it was a devastating loss for the Bearkat community, and just feel horrible for his family, but was an incredible friend, one of the best people that you'll meet. And it's just a really sad day for Sam Houston Athletics, Sam Houston baseball, but it's cool to see the community rally around him. I know there's some cool things going on behind the scenes to be able to support him, which is awesome. But yeah, definitely want to continue his legacy moving forward, and was a great Bearkat and a great friend to me.
Yeah, and there is ways to help. There has been a GoFundMe set up in Austin's memory to help his parents cover the remaining cost of the medical treatment. He spent a lot of time in the ICU, and provide him with a proper funeral. If you are able, please consider supporting the family during this difficult time. You can find the link by searching for In Loving Memory of Austin Farmer. That's In Loving Memory of Austin, AUSTIN, Farmer, FARMER, common spellings. Every amount helps.
Yep.
We're going to take a moment of silence before we hear from our sponsor, Eternal Roofing. Austin Farmer, forever a Bearkat.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing, and I think Austin would want us to continue the show. He was a fan of everything that you did, and he was a person that followed our show. So in his memory, we're going to continue, and there's I'm not going to say no shenanigans because it's me, but we don't have like predictions and all that today because we're going over everything that happened last week at Bearkat Athletics. We're going to get you caught up, starting with the track team. Men's and women's track team was at the Jarvis Scott Invitational, and on the women's side, freshman Nora Ryan Ben, she got gold. She placed first in the 800 meters with a time of 2 minutes and 9 seconds. That's quality.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. And it was a very competitive meet too at Texas Tech, which is one of the best programs in the country. There were some other really good schools there too. So honestly, I mean, it's hard to keep up with track a little bit, but I try to support them when I can. I mentioned them a little bit in a tweet last week. Just the circumstances they've dealt with the past 2 years have been unbelievable. So kudos to them, continuing to compete and do good things.
Yeah, and I was thinking when I was getting ready, and I said, why don't we talk about these athletes are putting in the same amount of time as the football and the basketball and the baseball that get a majority of our time, right?
Right.
We need to provide them some time on this show too, and so why not?
Yeah. Well, and it was the men's side, I think, placed 3rd or 4th at Conference USA last year, which is super impressive considering the circumstances in a good league.
Yeah, they don't have a track.
Right.
And they don't really they have concepts of a facility.
Yeah, they go to Huntsville. They used, the kind of concrete ring around the turf at Bauer Stadium. But yeah, it is not an ideal setup. And the track facility is something that's been kicked down the road for about 2 years now.
Yeah, I know. That is something that needs to be done. And I don't know. I know they're feeling some pressure. I know Bobby's feeling some pressure. He's been talking about it, but these athletes need to have something on campus to give them the proper facilities that they need to compete. Someone like sophomore Zamion Parker on the men's side, he clocked a 6.69, placing him 5th in the 60-meter event at a quality meet.
Yeah, that is a legitimate time in the 60, 6.6, 7. I mean, that'll play, especially in Conference USA, which one of the conference championships is coming up here quickly.
They are. That's up next for the track team. February 27th, 28th, they head to the Conference USA Indoor Track and Field Championships, and those are held, go figure, Lynchburg, Virginia.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of the conference as a whole for track and field, UTEP is leaving after this year, and UTEP is one of the best track and field programs in the country. So, I mean, great for the league, but will help us compete a little bit more going forward.
Yeah, UTEP, they're going out to that, Pac-4?
The Pac-Man conference.
The Pac-Man conference. They only got a couple of men in that conference right now.
Yeah.
Hey, women's bowling, they've been going for a little while now. This last weekend, they were at the Southern Queens Invitational in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That is a fun place to be. They finished second behind UAB, but they beat UAB to open the championship bracket 4-3. However, the Blazers got them in a rematch 4-1-1 after they beat Southern to earn that shot at Sam Houston in the championship game. But it's another quality showing this year's bowling team is going to be a threat in the regionals once again.
Yeah, and it's weird. I think it's the NTCA is the poll for bowling, and it came out last week, the most recent one, and I couldn't believe it, but we were 14th, which I think was like the second lowest Conference USA school, but we've been performing just as good or better, over these past 2 weeks. Second place this week. I think you went 7-1 the week before, or something along those lines. And it was similar last year where you weren't as highly ranked as some of these other schools, and you ended up making a pretty good run at it. So don't really worry about the rankings. The way they continue to play has been really good.
The only thing that matters is getting in that tournament, my man. Once you get in, anybody has a chance. The heck with the rankings.
Right.
They're next up. Big Red Invite. Can you guess where that is?
Nebraska.
That's in Lincoln, Nebraska. They're heading to Husker territory to see if they can't take down some of those, well, we'll just say Huskers.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Huskers of corn.
The Huskers that eat corn. And they raise corn. Hey, love corn. Love cornfields out of the field, by the way.
That is their personality. Corn is their personality.
That's probably true as well.
What else is there to do in Nebraska?
Not a whole lot, man.
No.
I've been to Omaha for the College World Series a couple of times, but there ain't much else in Nebraska.
Maybe 1 week out of the year it's something other than corn.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hot, muggy, and humid, right? And then they also get bitter cold. Like You got to really love Nebraska to stay in a state like that.
I know there's a whole bunch of nothing.
I told you there'd be some shenanigans today.
I'm not surprised.
The women's tennis. They defeated Alcorn State. We'll call them Alcorn State. The Lady Braves, the Bravettes, whatever you want to call them. They beat them 7-0. They swept them in Vicksburg, Mississippi. They won every singles match, obviously, and then all 3 doubles matches to take the doubles point as well. That was a clean sweep for the tennis team. Then they went to Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I've been there as well, believe it or not. I've been on the stomping grounds of the old Brett Favre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Steal some money?
I did not. I'm not in that class, man.
No.
I'm not
Just
of that
making sure.
ability. People try to avoid giving me money rather than having me steal it.
Yeah, siphon it through some illegal back channels.
However they want to do it, they can do it, man. As long as I ain't involved, I don't give a darn. They defeated Southern Miss, the Golden Eagles, 4-2. USM won the doubles point, but Sam Houston rebounded. They got wins at 1, 2, 4, and 6 singles. So top 2 singles. That's pretty good. And then you got the 4 and the 6 to claim the victory. This tennis team, I know it's early in the season, but I feel like this team is not bad this year.
Yeah, I think they started, 0-6, but it was a very tough schedule. Like, I know they played A&M, who was a top 5-10 team in the country. But you win 2 in a row. You beat Alcorn State, which is a team you should beat. Southern Miss, comparable program. You beat, which is good. And it's a tennis program that's been down the last few years after having some good years in 19, 20, 21. But there's really no excuse now at this point. You've got some of the best facilities in the country for a G5 kind of program. So hopefully they can continue to build some momentum the rest of the season and moving forward.
Real quick, before we finish up on tennis here, General Sam chiming in. I just looked over at the comments. Zamion Parker broke the school record in the 60-meter dash with a time of 6:61. So that is impressive. That's one. I also saw another school record in football, set a school record for top recruiting class in program history.
Yeah.
Is that really something to celebrate, though?
I think it's fine too, but ultimately it doesn't matter if it doesn't correlate to anything on the field. But good, it's a good thing to keep fans engaged and excited for the season. I mean, I don't hate them posting it.
Oh, no, I don't have any problem with them posting it. Dude, you got to post anything positive you can find when you won, 2 games last year, right? You got to do anything you can. But when you're comparing it to a team that just became FBS a couple years ago, it should be the top recruiting class. In fact, I would hope every class for the next couple years is the top recruiting class.
Yeah, and I think we'll see how they grade out talent-wise compared to that 24 team. That 24 team wasn't a huge Porter class, but you hit on everybody. You know, Jay Ducker, Jalen Jimerson, Isaiah Cash, guys like that. I mean, you hit Hunter Watson, you hit on everybody from top to bottom. So we'll see what the hit rate is here, but obviously on paper, I think it's probably fair to say that this is the most talented group you've brought in, and you'll see how it plays out on the field.
General Sam watching on YouTube, bringing tons of track and field for us today. Jaden Piper got a time of 54:47 in the 400-meter dash, which is 3rd all-time indoors for the school and 1.4 seconds slower than my fastest time ever when I was 18.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. I'm sure
not for guys, man.
Well, I think it also just speaks to the men's program. Like I said, I can't remember if it was 3rd or 4th they got last year. I think it was at the outdoor meet at the end of the year. But the fact that they're able to still compete like this, bring in talent despite the circumstances, speaks a lot to Coach Self and his staff and what they're doing. And this is a program that has a lot of tradition and history going back to the 2000s, early 2010s. Has fallen off a little bit since then, but the fact that they're still able to compete at this kind of level is impressive.
Yeah, that's a female, because if that was a guy, that'd be a very slow time of 54. For women, that is a very fast. And I know everybody tunes in to hear my personal, but the one sport that I actually was decent at and won medals was track. I was more of a distance runner, though. I did all my damage in the 2-mile.
I'm sure you did. I would have loved to see it.
I ran a 10:30.
That's impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, I will tell you, before I got out of the military, when I was, let's see, how old was I? 33, 32 years old. I was running a 1430 still.
Wow. For the mile?
2 miles.
No, 2 mile. Yeah.
Yeah, I was running. I've always been a good distance runner until I decided to quit running distance.
Yeah, I ran a 5:55 and a 13 flat in high school, but I not like that anymore.
No, I was a 5:15 mile, which wasn't near fast enough to get me anything. And even with a 2 mile of that, I finished like next to last at regionals because we had dudes running 9:15s in class 2A back then, dude.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And
Texas
General Sam said they don't
cross-country.
get track and field doesn't get the love they deserve. They don't, but we're going to start trying to. I'm going to try to see if we get everyone that goes out there for Bearcats, get them all some love. About bowling though, Jason Plotkin, he's concerned they might miss the NCAAs this year. He's thinking they're going to need a strong finish in some of these tougher tournaments down the stretch. Man, that would be rough.
Yeah, it would be, but I mean, they've been so consistent for so long. I mean, one down year won't kill you, but obviously the program wants to, stay at the level of excellence like they have been. So we'll see what they do at the Big Red.
Now that I'm caught up there, we'll go back to tennis. And tennis this weekend, they're heading to Abilene Christian. They've got some nice courts and some nice indoor courts too. And then while they're in Abilene, they're going to go on over and face Hardin Simmons. They're doing both of those on Saturday. And Hardin Simmons, for a Division III, look, they probably should not be competitive with Sam Houston, but on a Division III scale, they're not a bad tennis program.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'm looking up another program that we're not talking about it today, but while we're on or talking about it, and I assume this was the case, but beach volleyball starts on Saturday.
I've got that going up here somewhere, I think.
And it is going to be an actual beach volleyball roster. It's not just going to be, players from the volleyball team, which is going to be exciting. I know they brought in a lot of transfers this offseason, especially when the SFA program folded. They brought over 1 or 2 from over there. So should be a much more competitive beach volleyball season this season too.
They're playing in the Javelina Beach Classic in Kingsville Friday and Saturday. They're going to face McNeese and UTEP on Friday. And on Saturday, they get Louisiana Monroe and Texas A&M Kingsville. That's a pretty good weekend for this beach volleyball program.
Some good tests. We'll see where they're at here moving forward. Brad Keenan has a really good track record coming in as head coach. I'm interested to see what he can do with this roster.
General Sam is asking, is beach volleyball team club or NCAA? I'm pretty sure they're NCAA now.
NCAA. So last year was their first year. The reason they were created was to create alignment from the Title IX side of things. Football going from, what is the FCS, 63 scholarships up to 85. So it balances things out from a scholarship perspective at the university. So that's why it was created. Officially an NCAA sport. They played last season, was not very good, but it was just your regular volleyball players filling in. But now you've got a legitimate roster in year 2, so I'm interested to see what they can do.
We will be keeping track of beach volleyball as they go through the season. A couple more sports got into the swing of things, if you will, last week, and we're talking about the golf teams. Women's golf, they hosted the Texas Golf Throwdown, which, by the way, if you're playing golf, there should be no throwing down. Maybe some beers, but we're not dropping clubs and throwing fists around here.
Right.
That would not be a good idea on the golf course.
Right.
And there's a fight on hole 3 at the green. That was at the tournament course. They played on the tournament course at the Woodlands Country Club. They finished 10th out of 15 teams. Iowa State, who is number 4, they're ranked number 4 in the country. They won the tournament, followed by Nebraska and Cincinnati. And when you read that is a quality field to have for a golf tournament.
It is, and you were the host school for it, which is nice. Women's program actually has a new head coach, which should be announced here soon. Can't say too much on it just yet, but they do have a new head coach who's going to do a really good job, have some connections there. Was a rebuilding year last year, starting to move a little bit in the right direction this year, but it's still a very, very young team, a little inconsistent right now. full of a lot of transfers. But yeah, it was an okay showing, 10th out of 15. So we'll see what they can do moving forward.
Next up, they are playing the Momentum Transportation UNF Collegiate. That's a lot. It's hosted by North Florida. It's taking place at the Jacksonville Golf and Country Club Monday, February 23rd. So we will have something on that next week on the show.
Yeah.
Also, USA men's hockey still leads Sweden 1-0 with 5 minutes to go in the third period.
I think we've both got it. I see it in your reflection. I've got it on the TV in my office too.
I've got it on the TV and I've got it on one of my screens I've got over here too. So
Yep.
Yes, I've been loving the Olympics. Hey, golf is an Olympic sport, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
You see how much Summer Olympics, man, there's so much. I had no idea they had a golf tournament.
Yeah, they did. I think it was John Rahm that won it this last year on the men's side, or in 24.
Nice. Unlike a lot of those, every time one of those Americans doesn't win gold, they let us down.
Oh, yeah.
That's what my wife gets upset when I say that.
Come on.
Men's golf, they finished 12th out of 13 teams in the Border Olympics. That does not. This could get Greg Abbott upset. The Border Olympics at the Laredo Country Club, hosted by the University of Houston, and the Cougars took the title of their own tournament. Tarleton was second, tied for second with North Texas. I'm not sure the full field of that, but finishing 12th. In that tournament, I don't know if they weren't good in all the Olympic sports at the border or what the case was.
Yeah, this is an extremely young team. You graduated 3 seniors from the title team last year and then lost Gene Chikangwal to USF. So you pretty much are starting from scratch. Alex Malanga, who was your top returner, he was your 5th player last year, had a shoulder injury in the fall. So he's just now getting back in the mix, but he was a top 10 as an individual. So that was good to see. Sebastian May, who's an international transfer, he was all right, but just a very, very young group. You were in the top 3 for pretty much the entire first round. You got up to about, and then you were, I think it was 6th or 7th after the first day. You kind of held that about halfway through round three, and then kind of just fell apart there at the end. But that's what you are kind of expecting to see with a young team like this. They'll have their flashes, but just not consistent enough. So we'll see what happens. It's a very young team. I think there's a lot of promise moving forward, but this is definitely a rebuilding year after they made the NCAA regionals last year.
They have a couple of weeks off before their next tournament. March 9th, they head to the Bayou State to Lafayette, Louisiana for the Louisiana Classics. And real quick, before we go on to the next part and hear more from Eternal Roofing, have you been following the hockey today?
Yeah, the Canada-Czech game, that was
Canada-Czechia, right? Like that was an amazing game, and this is one of the times you are allowed to hate anything Canada during these 2 weeks. Sidney Crosby, all that, and man, I was hoping they would get beat by Czechia, but unfortunately they pulled that one out in overtime. And then you had Finland and Switzerland too.
Yeah, Finland coming back from down 2-0.
Yeah, and Michaela Schifrin this morning.
Yeah,
she blew it away on the slalom course. I think that was.
Yeah, I also have a little nugget too. I didn't put this in the script because I totally forgot about it. But football is going to have one staff change that came up this week. A coach leaving. The new hire, from what I hear, is on campus. A person that worked with Coach Longo at UNC and Wisconsin, was most recently with Rich Rod. So I'll just put that out there.
Coming over from Jack State, huh?
West Virginia.
I mean, that's right. That's where he was. Sweden just tied the game at 1 with 1:31 to go, even though the U.S. had an empty net. Or no, they had the empty net.
Yeah.
Sweden had the empty net. So, yeah, 1-1 now with 1.5 to go. And if they go to overtime, they're doing 3-on-3.
It's terrible.
10-minute period, man.
It's not real hockey. It's like putting a runner on second in the MLB playoffs.
Okay, I can see not doing it in the playoffs, but doing the regular season,
right?
You got to.
Yeah, regular season's fine. Playoffs, no. But
Hey,
yeah, a little bit of scoop for those listening.
Space Cowboys had their first practice last week.
That's some scoop too.
That is the man. Let me tell you, Space Cowboys this year, we're going to be a lot of third graders, couple of fourth. Should be fun.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear about it.
We will hear plenty, I'm sure. If you're enjoying the show, well, thank you, first off, because, shenanigans. Help us grow by rating, reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget, subscribe to our Substack page at marchtothepod.substack.com. Ben has had amazing stuff on there. He had a nice baseball preview to go along with the softball preview that he had a couple weeks ago. He had a really good baseball preview heading into that last week, and we're going to talk about baseball and softball next. Don't forget to find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube by searching for @MarchToThePod. That's March, the number 2, the pod. And we are proud to be part of the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable with shows covering all 12 CUSA programs, and they provided a little content for us as we get into basketball here in a little bit. We're going to come back and talk about the bat and ball sports, but beforehand, let's get another word in from our sponsor, Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
I want to say another big thank you to our friends over at Eternal Roofing. Softball picked up again. They've been going for a couple of weeks now. This last weekend, they were at the Mardi Gras Mambo.
It's a fun name.
That really is. That was in Youngsville, Louisiana, which I have never heard of before in my life.
Just outside of Lafayette.
Okay. Well,
I've got family in Lafayette, so.
Oh, I see.
I've been in Youngsville a few times.
You got a little Cajun.
Yeah, a little bit.
The softball team defeated St. Thomas, former D3 St. Thomas, 5-0. They defeated SIU Edwardsville 2-1. They lost to Eastern Illinois 8-4, rebounded with an 11-1 win against Georgia State, and then finished impressively 6-0 against New Mexico. So if I'm counting that up, that looks like a 4-1 weekend, my friend.
Was a really good weekend. Pitching did the job. The offense that I mentioned a few weeks ago, if they could just have a few pieces step up, looks to be doing that for the most part. And then your two kind of known commodities, Bella Perez and Veronica Harrison, have just been unbelievable. I mean, Bella Perez is definitely on pace to break the home run record this year. She tied it last year. So they're looking good. Obviously had a little bit of a setback last night. The biggest concern for me is we haven't seen Abigail Young in going on 2 weeks now. Your top pitcher didn't pitch all weekend, didn't pitch against Lamar. So that's a point of concern. Her durability was a little bit of a concern last year, missed some time. So very interested to see what her status is because she's a big part of this team moving forward.
Well, and Lamar got them last night, 9-4 at home. And that's a team that seems to always sneak up on them every year.
Yeah, decent team. I think Lamar came in 5-4. They're definitely not terrible. It's a game that I wish we could have won, but overall 4-2 week, in the past 6, I think that puts you at like 7-4 on the year. Pretty good start. Still a young team, especially in the lineup. So we'll see what they look like moving forward, but has been a good, maybe not great start, but it's been good so far.
This weekend is the Bearkat Invitational. So get on out there in Huntsville and support them. Thursday through Saturday, they're playing Houston Christian, Austin P. Just want to throw that out there.
Little inside joke.
Then they've got Houston Christian and Austin P again on Friday, and they close with Prairie View A&M. So that will be a fun weekend of softball on the diamond there for the ladies.
Yep. Wonder if Dr. White makes an appearance for her old school, Austin P.
Yeah, hey, whichever one's her old school. Speaking of Houston Christian, the baseball team played them last night. They won 4-3. This come after a 3-game series at McNeese, which, by the way, I saw a stat. I think it was Sam Houston Sports Talk. I apologize.
Yeah, you're talking about the road stat.
Yeah, they have now won in 4 games on the road this year. They've won 3 of them now. They took 2 of 3 at McNeese, and they have surpassed last year's win total on the road in a matter of 4 games.
Yeah, which is, I think it speaks to the start this team is having and also kind of how poor last year was. And I think this team, maybe not a complete 180, but definitely moving in the right direction after 1 week of play. You feel pretty good about where this team is at. You wanted to see strides, signs of growth and development, and you've definitely seen it through 4 games at this point, especially on the pitching mound. My goodness.
Oh my goodness. They have looked so much better on the mound, but man, Friday night, the season opener was wild as it could be.
I know.
McNeese took that one in 11 innings, 9-8, but I try not to listen to like the McNeese call or whatever a lot of times, but I had to tune in to figure out some of what was going on there in the later innings.
Yeah, well, and even on the Saturday game, they were like, it was a crazy game, and we don't necessarily agree with the calls that happened, late in the game. It was interesting.
It really was. I am not exactly sure what all was going on. I know Jay with Sirianni was not necessarily happy about that.
Rightfully so.
But they rebounded. And that's a big sign, right? You lose that first game. That one it can be tough. That could put you into a hole mentally when you're playing a series like that. But this team rebounded. They showed some mental toughness, came back 11-2 on Saturday, 8-5 in the series finale. You talk about pitching, it's that depth of pitching, and to see that on Sunday and to see it on Saturday, and the bullpen was pretty solid as well. I think overall it's been a really good start for the baseball team.
Great start, and I think we knew coming into this year that the lineup should be good, and it's been good pretty much every game. HCU was a little down, but you had some guys not in the lineup that night playing some other guys, which is fine, but I mean, Ryan Peterson did what you expected him to do, 5 innings, 2 runs. Tyler Ryden was unbelievable. The Alvin Community College transfer on Saturday was and then you had Colin Aloisio, who was kind of a surprise starter on Sunday. He wasn't one of the guys that Jay Sirianni mentioned in his press conference 2 weeks ago, but the freshman looked great, got through 5 innings, and all 3 of your starters got through 5 innings. And then last night, Jacob Holzer, I think he could have gone more, but he threw in relief on Friday, but he went 4 really strong innings. So getting 4 to 5 innings of 1-2 run ball from all of your starters consistently is how you win in college baseball. And I mean, it's been really good to see that.
The most important pitch is strike 1.
Yeah. Just strikes in general at this level.
Yeah, but strike 1, man, you got to throw. If you could throw strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, they call you CC Sabathia. Yeah,
the biggest thing too was just the physicality of what you see on the pitching mound. I mean, the way the fastball velocity is so much higher than it was last year. The breaking stuff looks so much better. The size of the guys on the mound is a big difference. I mean, Mason Murphy, the true freshman, came in and threw 2 2/3 innings, struck out 6, was sitting in the low 90s. His dad played for the Houston Texans in the 2000s. But man, the level of physicality with this team is just on a different level compared to what we had last year. And it's what you need to be able to compete in Conference USA, which is the 5th or 6th best league in the country.
Oh yeah, no, there's some good baseball in Conference USA. And so that's a good start. Find out a little more this weekend. They got their home opener at the Dawn. Get out there Friday through Sunday. They're hosting Illinois, Chicago. UIC comes in. Also the Flames. Just saying. We don't like anything named Flames around here.
No.
Not at all. Tuesday, they head to Houston, starting that battle for the Don Sanders Cup. I don't know anything about the Cougars, but this team, I wouldn't count them out of anything yet.
No, well, and you finally got it back last year, which is funny because you had lost 4 or 5 years in a row.
It
And
was such a bad year too, right?
Finally got it back, which was cool. But yeah, U of H started 4-0. They were down in the Puerto Rico, I think it was the Puerto Rico Challenge or Classic, one of the two. But they look good. Should be a good series there. And the interesting thing with the Don Sanders Cup this year is traditionally it's been one game at each home stadium, and then you go play in Sugar Land. But you've got 2 games in Huntsville and 1 in Houston this year. So that's a little bit of an advantage that you have.
Home field advantage is important. So Puerto Rico, is that part of the United States? Or
I think so.
just checking. I was reading some Facebook comments one day. General Sam has a football question before we head to our final break. He wants to know, are we close to knowing the Conference USA football schedule for 2026?
Yeah, so this is something that really nobody knows, but there are a couple pieces of information that I've gotten and heard the past few weeks. Bobby Williams was at Conference USA scheduling meetings second week of January, and they were ironing out some of the final details. One of the biggest hangups continues to be Louisiana Tech status. The people over at Louisiana Tech are still up in the air on what their status is going to be. Traditionally, Conference USA has released their schedule in the first or second week of February, so we're a little behind the 8 ball when it comes to when it's traditionally come out. But it does sound like the Louisiana Tech situation is a big part of what's going on. And there were meetings in mid to late January that the conference had. So we'll see where it goes.
We'll get back to that in just a second. The U.S. just scored a goal to win in overtime, advance to the semifinals. So go USA as always. And, Sweden, hey, at least they have a curling team. Sweep. But they didn't beat the game over there. So Veep.
And so, yeah, we'll see where it goes.
So what is the deal with La Tech? Like, are they staying? Are they going? When is it? This has got to get ironed out soon, man. This is getting ridiculous.
It's Louisiana Tech is under the assumption that they're gone. I don't think Conference USA is under that assumption.
Are we going to get a legal fight out of it? Is this really going to go on?
There's already been a little bit of it. I mean, nothing too crazy, but I know there was some sort of legal battle going on a couple of weeks ago that I saw the people out of Ruston reporting on. So I feel like it probably ultimately ends in a legal battle.
Is this one of those things where they're going to take them off of TV and like the WAC did? Like, are we really going to have a situation like the Western Athletic Conference? Come on. Conference USA has got to be bigger than this, but something's got to get worked out. Whatever it takes, we need some finality so that these schools can get their schedules.
Yeah, I mean, you have to at some point, and it's not just for football. I mean, soccer, volleyball. There's a lot of moving parts here, so it's something we've got to get ironed out here very quickly.
The heck, even the spring sport teams are already trying to get their schedules ready for next year at this point. A lot of times too. It's got to get figured out. Hopefully Judy McLeod gets something figured out pretty soon. We're going to come back here in a moment with an update about the Cat Fund and some great things going on there. But first, one final message from my friends at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
We're talking basketball in a minute, but first, Ben, tell us what's going on over at the Cat Fund.
Yeah, cat-fund.com. You can find out more information. We'll have an update for all of our members here coming up pretty soon. Just kind of the future, what Cat Fund will look like. Also, I know we launched it a few weeks ago, our partnership with LPT. Have some exciting news with that coming up in the next few weeks, a way for people to get involved with us and LPT and support Sam Houston athletes. Cool app that they've got coming up. So be on the lookout for some information kind of about the future of Cat Fund, and then also that partnership with LPT here moving forward.
Sounds outstanding. Hey, for those who are as interested in the Olympics and Team USA as I am, they have the bracket released now finally for the semifinals for men's hockey. They reseeded the teams.
Yeah.
Canada will play Finland, the reigning gold medal champions, Friday at 9:40 a.m. Central Time. That's going to be on USA, also on Peacock. I don't know why I'm promoting their stuff, but whatever. Slovakia is the 3 seed. They get the United States. Also Friday, 2:10 Central Time. That'll be on the mothership in BC. So that is your final hockey update of the day.
Yeah, I'm a big hockey guy. I love it.
I love hockey. I am my sports. Of course, I'm a sports guy, right? I love baseball. I love softball. I love basketball, hockey. I'm not necessarily a big golf guy. I'm
a big golf guy.
I just don't watch it. Like I know who's good and who's not. I just don't sit down and watch golf.
Right.
I used to play it, not well, but I used to hit my ball in the water plenty.
Yeah.
Man,
made those divers some money.
There's one thing I could do is find you know. So after the first time I played, I went and bought a bunch of recycled balls that they'd already dug out because I figured they were headed back there anyway.
Right.
Sending them home is what
Yep.
was happening there. And that one course in Korea that I'd play on at Osan Air Base, my goodness, man, that thing had water all over the place, and I found it every time, 2 or 3 times a shot.
I'm sure you did. I do. That happens to me too.
Hardwood sports, we have something to talk about here that happened last week, and I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts. First off, we're going to start on the women's side of things. They beat Missouri State last week, but then they lost 67-65 to Florida International, another one of those close games against the Panthers. But the game started with an administrative technical foul on Sam Houston for wrong jersey number. So I don't know the specifics of this, so I'm going to ask you a few questions because I do know a few things about the administrative foul rules and stuff like that. Was this something to where a coach put the wrong number, the numbers of the uniforms they would typically wear in the scorebook, but then they were wearing the pink ones, so they were off? Or was this some other sort of a violation?
No, that is exactly what it was. They only wear the pink ones once, maybe twice a year. Numbers are a little different, so the numbers they put in the book are what they typically wear, and the pink ones were different. So got the administrative technical foul, lost by 2. They started the game 2-0, and I mean that's just a very disappointing way to lose. Who knows if it ends up the same way if they don't have the 2 technical free throws, but yeah, that was definitely frustrating.
That's an attention to detail thing, and I mean I've seen it before in Division II. I've seen it before. It's something that usually I would say, from my experiences at Division II, I have no idea how Sam Houston does things when it comes to the pregame stuff, but assistant coaches are usually the ones that fill out the scorebooks.
Right.
I imagine that Raven might be checking that herself now.
I hope so. And on the men's side, it hasn't come up, but Damon Nicholas Jr. wears a different number for the black jerseys compared to the orange and white. I don't know if people have noticed that.
Well, and they haven't had a problem. I mean, their coaches have been paying attention to that and getting the right numbers in the book to start, thankfully. But, you know, look, mistakes happen. I am not bashing the coaches. We are humans. Humans make mistakes. That's a mistake, though, that could be avoidable. And I imagine in the future, they will take steps to make sure they avoid such technical fouling.
Yeah, and FIU is kind of your kryptonite for whatever reason. It's just a team that you don't really play your style against, it seems like.
Yeah, they're a hard team to play.
They're very similar to you when it comes to your athleticism and defensive ability, and it kind of throws them off.
Do you know what press trying to think of how to say this properly. How teams that love to press, do you know what they hate to play against?
Teams that press.
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to it. Even though they play against it in practice all the time, they don't like to play that in the game. They struggle with it. And so I think that's a kind of the case of what we're seeing with FIU and the Bearcats this year.
Yeah, a little bit. And, the old saying, you can't beat a team 3 times. Maybe you run into them in Huntsville, Alabama, and you get over it. But we'll see. And it knocks you out of that 2 seed, which is very important because you get the extra rest day going from the quarterfinals to the semis. And then in the quarterfinals, you're playing a team that just played the day before. So a top 2 seed for both men and women is a pretty big advantage.
Well, let's take a look. I believe this. Let me blow this up. There we go. This is the women's standings currently. I got it right this week. La Tech is at the top at 12-1. If you can hear the squeaky in the background, my dog is playing, so get mad if you want to. La Tech is 12-1 in conference, 3-game lead over Middle Tennessee, and Sam Houston's a half a game out, and that half a game very important, and they got a chance to make up that half a game this week and more, as a matter of fact. But they are a half a game behind Middle Tennessee. They're at 8-4. Which is a half a game ahead of Florida International. Now, if I'm Sam Houston right now, Ben, and I'm looking at this, I know Missouri State, they got them this coming week, 7-5. Jack State coming up 6-7. I believe they play Kennesaw as well. They're 5-8. But if I'm Sam Houston, I know the bye would be awesome, but at the end of the day, I would want to be I'll either want to be a 2 or a 3, and I don't want FIU to be a 1 or a 2 or a 3, right? Like I don't want to have to face them before the final.
Yeah, I think if you could stay a 2 or 3 and have FIU be the 4, that would be ideal. Louisiana Tech, you're still their only loss, so I don't know if that was a stylistic thing that just matched up well, but avoiding FIU, probably avoiding La Tech, finding a way to be a 2 or 3 seed and having FIU be the 4 is what you would want in a perfect world. And obviously you would want the 2 seed also for the rest and bye advantage.
That is ideal. That CUSA podcast roundtable that we're proud to be a part of, they've got magic numbers out. And so for teams to clinch a seed, number of wins needed, Sam Houston needs 6 wins to clinch the 3 seed. And as far as remaining strength of schedule, they're 10th. La Tech is 12th, which is interesting because Sam Houston, which, by the way, they misspelled Houston. I'm just going to throw that out there. Somebody must be Southern and put it Houston.
Yeah, that was probably Jake. That's all right. He does great work.
He does. We got to give him fits. La Tech, they do. Sam Houston has La Tech coming to Huntsville in a couple of weeks too, and that is looking like it's going to be a really big game.
Oh yeah, you just never know because you still have the tiebreaker if you can find a way to win out. Louisiana Tech loses, I think it's 2 or 3 more games. Still got a shot at it. So,
well, they begin a 3-game road trip. It's their last road trip of the regular season. At Kennesaw Thursday, Jack State Saturday, and then they've got that makeup game because of the inclement weather in Missouri. They go to Missouri State on Tuesday. This is a busy week and a very important next 2 weeks. For a team that plays with the energy and the pace that they play with, this is almost going to test them heading into that conference tournament.
Yeah, and I think they're one of the better conditioned teams in the country, but it is going to be a test here down the stretch. And that game's on a Tuesday. That was supposed to be your bye week where you go from a Saturday to Saturday without a game. So you really don't get your bye week this conference season, which isn't favorable for you heading into the conference tournament. But it is what it is. If you can find a way to, I think, win 2 of these 3 and then you get 3 in a row at home to end it, you'll be in a pretty good spot. But yeah, just got to continue to stack wins, find enough offensively moving forward. That's the big thing for this team.
And they have been fun to watch. The men's team, they had a 1 game last week at Kennesaw State. They took down the Owls 83-79. Any win on the road is definitely a good win, and that that is for sure true for the men's team, who sit right now in second place. Nobody's going to catch Liberty at the top, but the Cats are in prime position to get that bye right now.
They are, yeah, and I don't know if you or me could suit up for them, Corey, but we might have to at some point.
They got nobody left, man.
Eight players, and I mean, technically you have 10, but you're redshirting 2 of them. So if worse comes to worse, you do have 2 more. But yeah, you're down to 8 players, 8 active players, and it's going to be a test. 8 is typically enough for a single game, but it's tough for a stretch run, and we'll see what happens.
Question on that with those players, because they are low on bodies right now. But I know in football, and I don't know the rules, so this is what in football you get 4 games that they can play and still redshirt.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a number in basketball.
1
game. That's it.
Yeah. But you
that's
can file
crazy
for a
because
medical.
In football, it's a percentage of overall games.
Yeah, you can file for a medical waiver, but it's 1 in basketball.
That's
I was watching a Kelvin Sampson interview, head coach at U of H, a couple of weeks ago, because football was talking about going to 8 or 9 games, and they asked him what number he would say, and he didn't say a number, but he just talked for a while about how ridiculous it is that 1 game is what the eligibility is for. And you can file for, like, Sheck Njai for Sam Houston played 5 minutes in the opening game against Laterno. He'll get a medical waiver, but for a guy that played 2.5 games, he might not get one or something. It's just dumb.
They need to have give them 5 games, right?
I mean, the comparable would be maybe 8 with football.
Yeah, I would be okay with just saying 5. And if you're Sam Houston right now, you would love that, because when you get into the tournament, then you could have some more bodies on the floor for you that you're going to need.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if it's like football too, where the conference championship games, bowl games, playoff games don't count towards your eligibility. So maybe they suit up then. I think that could be a
great question.
So that might be something to watch too.
But you know what? I just, my feeling, because I don't know for sure, my feeling is that it counts.
Right. That's yeah.
Come on. What's the NCAA doing? They have conventions all the time. They can fix this.
Yeah, a whole bunch of nothing is what they're doing.
Yeah, the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable also put out the magic numbers for the men's team, along with the remaining strength of schedule. Sam Houston's got a tough schedule remaining, second toughest left. They need 6 wins to clinch the number 2 seed. That is that's a tall task for the men right now. But when you look at the probability, they also did a probability chart. I like the way this looks. 79% chance of getting that 2 seed. The 3 seed is at 13%. I will take a 79% chance right now, because the next closest team is Jack State, and they're at 9%.
Yeah, and this stretch coming up, 4 games in a row at home is really big, because 2 of them are against Jack State and Missouri State. So, and Jack State's 3rd, Missouri State is 5th, I think. So it's a really big stretch coming up for you. 4 games in a row at home. Got to keep the momentum rolling, because you finished at Delaware, who has surprisingly turned it around the past 2 weeks, and it's been good, especially at home. And then you play at Liberty. So this 4-game stretch is big.
They begin that tonight.
Yep.
Middle Tennessee State comes and visits. So as soon as you get done watching this, get in your car and head over to Johnson Coliseum so you can watch Middle Tennessee State and the Cats as they begin a 4-game homestand. Saturday is Jack State. They're right there in that hunt. These would be big wins. It is a big, big week for the Bearkats Athletics all the way through. And the only thing I can promise you is we'll be here. Again, I can't, life happens sometimes, so I'm not going to promise week to week. But we'll be back soon to tell you more about it.
Yeah, we will be here when we'll be here.
when we can.
Yeah.
Right? Life has been lifing for March to the pod this year so far.
Yeah.
Very much. And I also want to say this tree pollen, it can go somewhere else. It's been high for about 2 weeks, and it is killing me, dude.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, it could go somewhere else.
It could go somewhere else.
That's a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod presented by Turtle Roofing. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back soon with more Bearkat Athletics coverage. Until then, Ben, we need some big wins this week on the hardwood. Take us home.
Yeah, eat 'em up, Cats, and let's start by beating the Blue Raiders tonight.
Got to take out them Blue Falcon Raiders.